guys, my name is Nancy and I'm from Montreal, Canada. I'm currently on my third contract with Zebra English and have really enjoyed the ride so far. I'm really pleased with the students and the company, and I also find that the mentors, teachers, and employees I deal with are courteous and considerate. I just basically feel that Zebra English is a good fit for me. Well, we all know it's important to keep classes fun and engaging for our students, even when we're running out of time. I've always found timing to be the most difficult aspect of teaching, whether in the live classroom or online. We all struggle with it, especially with the new TBL format, which has more material and slides. We can find ourselves stressing out if our timing is a little off. Today, I'll be giving you 5 tips on how to keep your energy up when falling really behind with a student. And then I'll talk about tips on how to write feedback for trial students. You know what it's like. All of a sudden, you look at the clock and you're 20 minutes in and you still have 8 slides left. Oh my gosh! So it happens to me sometimes because I tend to get carried away having fun and extending with my regular students. Okay, so you either have a really advanced student and you've been chatting, having a good time, extending with them, or you might have a student who's struggling through that slide. You know, trying to get student output is like pulling teeth because they're either distracted or tired, or they didn't study this week, okay, or they are an unprepared trial student. We definitely don't want to skip slides, so how do we get through the material and still keep it fun for the student? Well, especially since we should be correcting every mistake the student makes, right? This can definitely slow things down considerably, especially with below-level students. So, number 1, stop extending, right? Obvious. But keep those celebratory noises up, okay? Those transitions. They're great for transitions between slides. I find that noisemakers make perfect transitions and they up the energy level, making students smile. Okay, I love them. Number 2, when you correct the student, correct them only twice and say, we'll keep practicing, so you don't spend too much time on this. All right. Number 3, don't swap during the role play. Get them to repeat after you if necessary instead of eliciting, okay? Use funny voices, okay, while you do this, or you can even wear your dad glasses if you're dad during the role play. Hello, Joey. Okay, you can also use different funny voices. You can say it as a dog. Hello, Joey. Or as a tiger, or as a robot. Okay, there's all kinds of different options. Number 4, change the way you scaffold. The quickest way to get a student to say something is to get them to repeat it. So get your puppet to model the sentence. Where are you, Cookie Monster? Hi there! Okay, or use props to make it fun. It smells bad! They love this one. And definitely have the student repeat during presentation. If it's an above-level student that reads well, I just tell them to read it quickly and pull out my pom-poms to celebrate! Yay! Number 5, spend very little time saying goodbye. During the coin counting at the end, I pull up a sticker, I tell them how many coins they got, I show them my trophy, and then I say, thank you for the great class and see you next week. I keep it as short as possible with a huge smile. Okay, so these, of course, are emergency measures and should be used sparingly. The main goal is to adjust your pacing to allow for all the slides to be seen and aim for timing, which allows you to swap during the role play and scaffold in a way which promotes self-correction. I always hope that by the end of the class, even if I've fallen behind, the student didn't really feel that I was rushing by removing the fun parts of the lesson. There are all kinds of ways to up the fun factor in your class, even if time is short. Make sure to sign up for the Delivering Fun Classes workshop in the teacher portal for more on this. Feedback can feel a little frustrating at times since we're never sure whether parents read it or not. There's a delicate balance to be reached between being honest and writing a blow-by-blow recap of the class and being positive and supportive of a child's progress and efforts. For trials, I always lean towards positivity and encouragement since the only way they can go is up. And it's important for parents to feel that you're rooting for their children and working as a team to see them improve over time. I usually start feedback in the last few seconds of class, actually. I always try to talk directly to the parents, say thank you for their support and help, and tell them how well their child did. He made lots of full sentences. He has great pronunciation. Anything I feel they did particularly well. This is a tip given to us by teacher Sherry and really does involve the parents more in class and creates the beginning of a relationship with the parent. Then I write short notes between my classes. Okay, what they can practice, what they showed to me, what we talked about in extension, so I can personalize my feedback once I'm done my classes. I usually teach 8 back-to-back classes, and although many teachers can write feedback between classes, I'm not one of them. In my written feedback, I start with the general topic of the lesson and how engaging I feel it was for the student, how much they liked the games and singing we did together. I always thank them again for their support and write, thank you for practicing with Elsa before class, since this gives her more confidence and makes class flow more smoothly. This is to remind them of the importance of this, regardless of whether they did it or not. And I also tell them that it's generally what makes a difference in student success rate. I talk about how well they followed classroom commands, participated and did TPR with me, and how they improved their speaking significantly until the end of class. This is true in about 90% of the time, and I write that this tells me that they will be a successful English speaker and they'll progress quickly. I also tell them how smart their child is. Who doesn't want to hear that, right? Then I tell them what we'll work on together, which is generally pronunciation and conversational English. If they're just starting to make sentences, I tell them that we'll work on making sentences or longer sentences together, depending on the level of the student. I also give them one sentence to practice, which they found challenging in class, and tell them what pronunciation or grammar point to be careful of when practicing. I also talk about the great extension we did by talking about X, Y, and Z. That reminds the parents that we did lots of extension. It's important. I don't rehash the class. I don't talk about vocabulary or the grammar scene. The parents are almost always sitting right next to the child, so I don't feel it's necessary. I also don't talk about how distracted the student was or any inappropriate behavior. I generally ignore it for the first class and up the fun factor to grab their attention. But if the child was in an inappropriate context, like a restaurant or a very loud environment, I tell them that the child will focus best if sitting at a table or in a quiet place for their next class. Also, remember how important it is to be patient and considerate of the stage the child is in. For example, I had a trial this week where the child said just a few words throughout the whole class. When this happens, it's important to keep feedback super positive and light. Point out how well the child listened, and explain to the parents that there is a silent period before children are comfortable enough to produce speech in another language. Talk about the words they did say and what made them smile in class. Remember that parents do read trial feedback since it's the first. So make sure to tell them how well their child did and everything you plan to do as a team to help their child succeed. Make sure you filter it all through your super positive rose-colored glasses. Well, green in my case. This is so that they realize how much of a role they also play in their child's success as an English speaker, and how they can set their child up for success with Zebra English. I hope you found my tips helpful. If you have any tips which I didn't mention, please comment on the Zebra English Facebook community or comment below here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. Stay tuned for the next episode. See you next time. Bye-bye.